Hi, hello. Hey, good day. How does one start a video correctly? I don't know how to do this. Anyway, hello, I'm Hani. This is part 2 of a series of mine called No Makeup Talk, where I don't wear any makeup and I'm talking, so I guess the name of the series is self-explanatory. Why am I even trying to explain it? Also, I'm glad that you're far enough away so that you can't see how my skin is peeling lately because of the acne medication. Like, my skin has gotten so dry. It's literally like if I look in the mirror or if I would zoom it in, skin is peeling off my skin and it's looking very flaky and not pretty. But like, this is just one of the stages of recovery, I think. Sometimes medication does that. I'm okay. I'm not okay. What am I saying? Anyway, this video is not going to be about skin acne again because the whole first video is about that. So if you would like to know about the topic and my thoughts on it, you can, yeah, look at the first video. That would be nice. It would get more views. It would make me happy. I'm so done with my life. What am I even saying? Today's topic is optimism. How to be an optimist, how to cancel out negative thoughts, and how to maintain an optimistic mindset, I guess. I myself am an optimist. Like, I'm one of the biggest optimists you'll ever meet. Like, I'm of course also a realist because I see the realistic chances in things, but as long as there's a chance that something can get better, or as long as there's a chance that something can turn into something good, I'm very optimistic about that. If I see that everything is over, of course, I'm realistic and I just say, okay, leave it be. But if there's just the smallest, slightest chance of the situation turning better, then I believe in that chance. I don't know, I've always been kind of an optimist and kind of an uplifting nature. I don't know if it's to distract myself from my anxiety and all the other things that I've had in my life, and so I cancel it out with optimism. Is it a coping mechanism? Did I just figure out my problems here? Still, while I am an optimist, all of my friends are pessimists, and that can get really depressing sometimes because they're all around me like, the world is so bad, crying because of grades, crying because of something that happened, and I'm like, here, it's gonna get better, guys, it's gonna get better, it's all going to be okay, because I think it's also just, when you're an optimist, it kind of is in your nature to like uplift other people, and I think that's also one of the reasons why I am an optimist, because I like to make other people feel happy. To me personally, the most rewarding thing in the world is if I can make a person smile. That's like I always feel warm and happy then when I make another person smile. So I also try, when I have a bad day, for example, I'm a little bit stressed that something bad happened, I still try to be an optimist around other people, because I don't want to drag them down with my worries. I don't want them to worry about me. So I still try to keep like the uplifting nature of things. And yeah, I also try, like, if they of course said, I always try to cheer them up. It's just in my nature, I guess, to cheer people up. And I would never like want to bother someone with my worries, even though that can also be a bad thing, because sometimes you should just talk to your friends about what worries you or what goes through your mind, because if you just eat everything up to yourself, it's going to burst out someday, and then I'm alone crying in my room, and that's not good as well. But we're not going to talk about the depressing side of things today, but about optimism. Optimism to me just means always seeing the bright side of things. And I got into the mindset, I think it's partly my nature, I'm just a very weird kid, and partly also just I got myself into that mindset that there's always a chance that things are going to get better. Because I feel like if I set myself goals in life, I'll do anything to reach those goals. And if something goes wrong on the way, I'm just like still focused in the goal. I'm like, I can still reach that goal. That goal is not out of sight yet. I still see this goal and I still am going to do everything to reach it. And while I'm on the way to that goal, I don't want to let everything else just fall apart. I want to be happy living my life. Like, I think being happy while living your life is one of the most important things in the world. Like, what do you have if you are not happy in your life? Like, happiness should be a goal for everybody, I think. I'm also an optimist because I always want to stay happy and I don't want to let anything ruin my mood if it's possible, because I'm like, okay, I am here now, I am living this life and I'm going to make the fucking best of it, like the best of it that I can. And that's why I always look at things with, I always see everything how it could turn out. I see the positive in things. And even if like my friends are sometimes like, they come out with bad grades, and the bad grades obviously is there, like, I fucked up, they fucked up, we have a bad grade, it's okay, like I know that. But then I'm like, okay, I wrote this bad grade now, it was a mistake of myself, maybe I didn't do my best, so I'm going to do my very best the next test to make this grade better again. And I think if something happens, something bad happened, you can do nothing to change it. Like, it already happened, so I shouldn't keep myself worrying about the thing that already happened, because it's something that I can't change. I can't change things that are in the past, or I can't change things that already happened and that drag me down a bit, but I can change my view in the future. Like, I can change how I am going to approach the future. And I'd rather approach the future happily than looking into it like, oh my god, everything is just going to get worse from here. That's just how I think about this. I'm always like, oh, it can only go uphill from here, and then it still goes downhill, and I'm like in this cart running downhill, and I'm still like, it can go up again someday. Yeah. Now, as I already mentioned, most of my friends are pessimists, and I feel like a lot of times, sometimes that can really drag you down, because another thing about me that you might need to know for this story is that I'm also highly sensitive, which is like, I am very aware of my surroundings, and I'm also very aware of other people's feelings, and I often portray those feelings on myself. Like if I see, for example, my best friend crying, I will just start crying and feeling so bad myself, even though nothing happened to me, but I just copy the emotion of them sometimes, and then it's my own emotion. Then I feel so bad myself. Or if just somebody is like very, very depressed, very down, I instantly copy that myself, and I feel depressed and down. That you can Google that, highly sensitive, if you want to. It includes a lot of other things, but for me, it's especially there with this emotion thing. It's kind of like a sixth sense, maybe. I see how people around me feel, and because I'm copying these feelings, I know what to do to cheer them up, because I am feeling these feelings myself. Then I'm like, I just need to get out of this again, because I have this optimistic mindset. I'm like, okay, we are all going to be okay again, and I just try to cheer everybody up, and it's always been a thing that I do. Like, I feel like I'm not a person that wants to be dragged down by other people's feelings or negativity, but I often am. And it's a thing that I still have to learn, that it's not always my fault, or it doesn't always affect me if other people have problems, but it's not that easy. Like, for me, it's always like, their problem, if it's a friend of mine, instantly becomes my problem. It's a bit easier when I don't know them, or when they are a stranger. But if I know the person anyway, I often will always take offense if somebody's feeling down, even if it's not because of me. I still feel down then. But because I am an optimist, I get to cheer myself up very quickly, because I not only know how to cheer other people up, but also how to cheer myself up. For example, today was a very good example, because I already knew that I wanted to make this video today, and I was like, okay, today I'm going to stay optimistic all day so that that I can talk about the video. But what happened? It was probably one of the worst days in my whole week. Like, everything went wrong. First of all, I got to school way too early, and it was very awkward. I had a very awkward conversation with somebody, and I was like, oh god, I'm so awkward. It was like, I was feeling so awkward at that moment. I just said awkward 1,000 times, I'm sorry. And then we got our English test out, and I don't really care about grades, and maybe I'll talk about that in another video. But English, for me, English and art are the two subjects which I don't want a bad grade. Like, English, I pride myself in being able to speak English, talk English. I even give kids English classes. And that test didn't go too well for me. Like, I still got like a B plus, but I wanted an A. I only get A's in English, so I was very upset about that one, and it really, really dragged me down. And then I had a long meeting, because I'm also in our school council, and there was so much stuff happening, and I had to organize so much, and my head was just wanting to burst. And so I got out of that and was like, ugh, depressing stuff waiting on my chest, waiting on me, and I was like, oh god, how am I going to make a video about positivity and optimism today? And I was like, this is not gonna happen. Still, I'm sitting here now, and I'm happy now, because what happened? Well, first of all, after school was out, then I just walked to a restaurant, and I ate something. How to cheer up your mood, guys, just eat something good. No, really, but it was like, when I was walking there, I have a special playlist on Spotify, which are like songs that remind me of stuff, songs that cheer me up, songs that just uplift me. And while I was listening to that, I already got into the mindset again that it's going to be okay, everything's going to be okay, like, just breathe. Often, like today, when a lot of things happen at once, it just drags me down further and further and further. But then when I have time to think, it just gets better and better and better, because I have time to order my thoughts, which I don't have in all of these situations. So I just ordered my thoughts, and I was like, okay, you know what, you are just going to do this step by step, and it's going to be okay. So then I went to this restaurant, and I actually didn't want to eat anything. I just wanted to drink a tea, But then one of these sandwiches just looked so yummy. This is just so random. Why am I even telling you this? It's part of the story. So anyway, one of these sandwiches just was looking so yummy, and I was like, oh my god, that sandwich is smiling at me right now. We have a connection, okay? This connection means I have to eat this sandwich now. So I bought the ridiculously expensive sandwich with the money that I just earned from like teaching one of my students. I was like, okay, all my teaching money is now gone, but at least I got a great sandwich. And they even, like, in this restaurant, they warmed up the sandwich and the cheese inside of it melted and it smelled so good, and it also was like a very spicy sandwich. Probably you were like, what gross sandwich were you eating? It was so good. I'm telling you, it was the best sandwich I have ever eaten. Anyway, I went to sit at the back of the restaurant because I'm somebody that often eats alone in restaurants, because all of my friends can go home after school because they either live close to our school, they live in the same city and go there by bike, or they can go home by bus. But I live in the middle of nowhere, and there's only one bus that I can catch a day, so I often have to wait alone for that bus. And I was in the restaurant alone, and I was sitting there, and the sandwich was smelling so great, and I also got the tea was also great, and I was eating the sandwich, and that made me so happy. Like, I was like, oh, this is a good sandwich. Why wouldn't I be happy about a good sandwich? I also hadn't eaten much that day, so I was even happier to just eat something good in that moment. And that really uplifted my whole mood. Like, that was the point where my day changed. Like, up until then, it was just going down, and it was all so bad. It was like, this is just such a depressing day. What am I gonna do? And then I ate the sandwich and was like, okay, it's all gonna get better just from here now. This sandwich is so good, it has to be a good day now. I mean, this story is just representative for many stories of how you can look at the small things in your life and make them a turning point for your mood. Because I think everywhere, in every situation you are, you can always find something good. Like me with this sandwich. The sandwich smiled at me and I was like, oh, such a good sandwich. And like the whole day just brightened up afterwards. I also like read a very nice fan fiction on my phone. Yes, I do read fan fiction. I love reading fan fiction. I'm one of those girls that rolls around in a bed just feeling with the fan fiction. Anyway, I also read that while eating the sandwich, and I was like, it was just so good because I was just surrounded by things that were good, like a good sandwich, a good tea, a nice story in my hand. Still, I was alone, but I could also order my thoughts in that time. I wasn't upset about being alone there. So I think if you want to be an optimist, how you can start is just find the positive small things in your life and concentrate on those rather than on the negative things. Because I think it's all about shifting your concentration or your mindset to the positive things. Like, if I encounter something negative that day, like I just told you, I encountered so many negative things that day, but I just shifted my concentration to the positive. I ate the sandwich, and that made me happy. And of course, all these things still happen. Of course, I still had a bad first half of the day, but am I going to let this drag me down the whole day? Hell no, I just had a good sandwich. Maybe I'm going to have another good sandwich in 2 hours, and I won't give a fuck about that right now because it's over. It's a situation that happened. I fucked up that test. It was terrible, and I understand that, but can I change this grade? No, I can't. It's there. I can't change it. But I can change how I look back at this thing. Okay, the grade was bad in the moment. It dragged me down a lot, but I can just work on myself from there to make it better. Because if you encounter something negative in your life, I don't think you need to hang up on that and just concentrate on negative things. I think that's what a lot of people always do. They just get hung up on the negative things and they blend out everything else around them. And that is just a very bad thing to do, because you don't want to blend out anything around you. You just still, of course, this happened, you are going to get over it. And then you look around you and you always see possibilities of things that will at least make you smile. So you should just lift your head up again and you should breathe, and then you can go on and you can think about what you want to make in the future to make yourself happy. Because really, at the end of the day, it's about living a happy life and having a happy day and smiling a lot. Because why wouldn't you want to smile? It's great. You have a great day, so you smile. So I hope you understand just what I mean by this concentrating on small things. It's such a cheesy thing to say. Like, everybody always says, oh, concentrate on the small things in life. But you see, the small things can also be a sandwich, and it's so great. That sandwich was so damn great that day, and I was just like, you know, like, this was just an example story, but I want you all to just look around and see what you got in your life, because I think everybody got something that can uplift their mood, at least a little bit. And if you are sad in one moment, okay, just maybe take your time and then go on, because you can't let yourself be hung up on something that makes you sad. Because if something really makes you sad in your life, then you're just wasting your like lifetime that you could be happy on this thing. So you'd rather want to be happy, right? And I know everybody got depressing phases. I do have depressing phases. Like, I sometimes live in a rut 3 days under my blankets and I'm just feeling miserable. But I go on afterwards. And I think that's the important thing about being an optimist, is always finding something that keeps you going and that keeps you smiling and that keeps you wanting to improve yourself and make things better. So on that thought, I want to end this video here. I hope you liked this video again with me, no makeup, bad lighting, my very unruly background here. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like this format, me talking about stuff without makeup on, then you can give this video a thumbs up. You can also leave comments down below if you have any recommendations for what video I could do next or what I could talk next about in my video. And you can also subscribe to my channel so that you can keep up with what I am doing. A lot of crazy shit. I don't know. My life is just sometimes so interesting. Not, that was a lie. My life isn't interesting, but yeah, I can make it interesting if I want to. Like, the sandwich was great. Did you get me that? Anyway. Also, my Instagram is down in the description below, and until next time, bye and be back on my channel.